I beg to move that the following motion, that aware that the Ministry of Tourism have developed and published the Kenya National Tourism Blueprint 2030 in May 2017, further aware that the Kenya Tourism Agenda 2018 to 2022, launched in April 2018, establishes the foundation of the National Tourism Blueprint 2030 and is the tool for initiating the components of the blueprint. Also aware that the contribution of travel and tourism in Kenya GDP stood at 9.7% in 2017, up from 9.3% the previous year. Cognizant that the next 10 years, every industry will be changed by technology. Also aware that Kenya Tourism Board has partnered with Google, Safaricom, Kenya Wildlife Service, and Tourism Finance Corporation to create new digital content for the local tourism. Concerned that Kenya tourism industry potential is underutilized, aware that Kenya's position in the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Competitive Index ranking is 80 out of 136 in 2017, having improved by only 2 points from 2015, while having currently the lowest score in cultural resources and business travel with 1.6 points out of 7. Further, concerned that the majority of the solution proposed by the tourism agenda are brick and mortar type and not addressing the trends, noting that in less than 2 years, the share of online booking globally has grown from 9% to almost 33%, and the lucrative and fast-growing segment of business tourism. Also concerned that Kenya will continue to attract only beach and park type tourists, ignoring the large number of conferences and business travelers who largely never leave Nairobi and are offered minimal exposures to Kenya. Now, therefore, the Senate calls upon the Ministry of Tourism to approach tourism sector with modern innovations and implement tangible measures, measurable and impactful solution, resulting in improvement of the Kenyan ranking in the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index 2019 by 6 positions and improve the lower score of cultural resources and business travel by 1%. Madam Speaker, if I pose a question to this House and I ask how many tourists who love football visit Kenya, someone might think I'm actually posing out a very big question that may not have an answer. Yet this information is available. Madam Speaker, looking at the number of tribes that we have in this country, the richness in our background, in our heritage, as a Maasai, I pity other communities that do not take advantage of these tourists who come into this country. Madam Speaker, there is location-based data analytics, which has been used worldwide to be able to improve more resources in terms of the tourism sector, is something which is completely underutilized in this country. On Saturday, I traveled to South Africa, and the moment I arrived in South Africa like this, I received a text message telling me, welcome to South Africa. You can now make calls at this price, and also gave me an opportunity to know what is there. This morning, Madam Speaker, I arrived in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and likewise, I received a text message from Safaricom telling me, welcome back to Kenya, we missed you. Meaning, every tourist who come into this country, whether they are going to participate in the MIS, which is a meeting, incentives, and conferences and exhibition, comes with a cell phone. Noting that last year alone, Madam Speaker, we had 1.6 million tourists who visited this country. Those 1.6 million tourists, a majority of them attended conferences and exhibitions here in Nairobi and later left. Some of them went to Mombasa, others went to Masai Mara, and others went to Isiolo. For us who have land and beach, we are benefiting a lot. But looking at our background and looking at this country called Kenya, when you travel worldwide, and a good example is the one I've given you of South Africa. Today, when you see Even in the airport, there are pictures of Kenyans, pictures of a Maasai woman, a Maasai man, maybe even a Luo person playing drums. But we don't take advantage of this. So, Madam Speaker, and the reason being is that we are currently relying on old data which was collected maybe last year, such that we cannot even tell. We cannot even tell whether the tourists who come here and they want to experience our culture are given an opportunity by the Ministry of Tourism to be able to do that. And the reason why I brought this motion, Madam Speaker, is because I did the math and I asked myself, last year alone, if we had 1.6 million tourists who visited this country, a majority of them came in through these big companies that organizes all their travel. So 90% of all the money they pay remains in foreign currencies. Maybe remained in London, in the UK, in Germany, in China. Very little is left here. Then I said, if we can be able to just improve the competitive index of the tourism sector in this country, by ensuring that we tap in, particularly to the tourists who come in and attend these meeting, exhibition, incentive, and conferences. If they spend $100 a day, if you do the math, this is money that they can say, I'm interested in soccer, and I'm also interested in community development. You know, they can say, we can go to Nakuru, we can go to Taita Taveta, we can go to Narok, we can go to Isiolo, and there are communities that are encouraging soccer. There are women who are maybe between the ages of 28 and 30, or maybe even 16 and 30, who are into soccer, but they are also into community development. By them spending that $100 a day, that will be almost about $16 million that will go directly to the communities. That will create more jobs. It will also be able to ensure that we are sold worldwide as a place to go to. Earlier on this year, we traveled to Australia. When you go to Australia, the only thing they can really brag that they have a lot are the kangaroos. But the tourism department there took the next step to ensure that when you land here in that country, you are told so many things that you can be able to experience. So, Madam Speaker, it is important that we now think about these statistics that we take. And we have, if a cell phone, with all these towers that we have all around the country. We have towers which are based, some of them are in Nyando, some of them are in Busia, some of them are in Narok. And they can be able to track where these tourists go. They can be able, we can take this analytic data and put it into good use. Then we will not be fighting the issues of unemployment. Because there'll be more people who will be able to get jobs, they'll be able to work, they will be able to support their families, and more tourists will come here. One of the things that I feel sorry is that I think every Tuesday or Thursday, we have the Maasai market. Maybe we have a Maasai market in the Junction. We might have a Maasai market in Village Market. In this affluent neighborhood, you go there, people are selling this beadwork. They're not really benefiting. These tourists could do more. They can go into a village. They can even go to Kibera, or they can even go to Kajiado down the road, participate in sports, participate in community development work, leave more money for our people. So, Madam Speaker, it is imperative that the Ministry of Tourism now come up with a way of engaging these companies that deal with location-based data analytics to find out how many tourists, particularly, let's say, French women between the ages of 17 and 30 who visited Kenya last year. And where did they go? This is data which is available. This data can be able to help you sell more, be able to ensure that you have more, you reach out to your customers. And for us, in this economy, which some consider a developing economy or a middle economy, we really need to be able to use technology to reach out to everyone who comes in. There's a company, Madam Speaker, called Reach You, which have done some Google search on. And this company can take even county government spatial plans and look at the county government, for instance. Look at a county like Isiolo and say, how many national parks do we have? We've got tourists we've got people in America who may never afford to get into a plane, come to Nairobi, but being given that virtual reality tour of Isiolo County, seeing the game parks, of course they pay. Online is everything. I know of young men and women who make millions and millions of shillings using the internet. Our kids are on the internet. Let us now engage the Ministry of Tourism to an exercise that they can start tapping into our rich culture. The Kikuyu culture is rich. The Somali culture is rich. The Luo culture is rich. The Luya culture is rich. The Maasai culture is very rich, because that's the one that we've really benefited immensely on. But I'm not saying these other cultures cannot be also very rich. There's something that I don't know about the Luo culture. But if we engage to know the activities that can be carried out in those respective areas, then we will move from having tourists come, spend billions in Nairobi here, and all they do is that they go to these big hotels, which, Madam Speaker, most of them are owned by chains. So the money just keeps on going abroad. We need to now bring back this money. Madam Speaker, when you travel and you read a lot about Kenya, even the tourists who talk about Kenya, they tell you that Kenya is one of the best places to go to. And by them saying it is one of the best places to go to, it is so wrong if we don't take advantage of that. Let us tap into their cell phones. And I'm not saying we listen into their conversation, but let us see, using this data, what activities brings them into this country. So that we are not only known on issues to do with athletics. We're not only known with the issue to do with Masai Mara Game Reserve. Although I want more tourists to come. But I think this country will develop more when we're able to diversify most of our tourism incentive and activities. The Ministry of Tourism, Madam Speaker, can also be able to venture into promotions that they can be able to give, partnering with these companies like Google, partnering with this company like Safaricom, that when a tourist lands in, they can be told, there is Loyangalani, And then, because some of us Kenyans, even us or ourselves as a country, it is very few of us travel around the country. So I think getting into these, utilizing these statistics and making sure that the statistics is current will also help local Kenyans be able to travel. Not only go to Mombasa, because during Christmas, I'm sure everybody heads up in Mombasa. But maybe just somewhere in Lake Turkana or somewhere in Taita, there are the Mizima Springs, which can be able to bring in certain attraction and help people be able to build their richness in terms of visiting and also opening their mind. So, Madam Speaker, the power of place, how location intelligence reveals opportunity is really quite big when we rely on data. So, Madam Speaker, I beg to move and request Senator Fatuma Dulo to second.